The following content contains adult language and humor that is not suitable for viewers under the age of 18. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. The views and opinions expressed during the following video content are those of the individual and may not reflect those of others. Thank you.
The hell you say? Oh boy.
I see it.
No! StreamYard, what has happened to you lately? What is going on?
I don't know, but I've got to remedy that problem over on Rumble. Don't know why it's doing it, but I must fix it.
Yes.
Good evening and welcome, one and all, to this edition of PACIFIC414 Pop Talk, along with Cashmoney007. I'm your host, Mike. Baron Orman Tagge is with family this evening.
Yep.
And this evening, we will be with the YouTube side for an hour and the Rumble side for a total of 2 hours. That counts what's going on right now. And then when we start talking about a couple of articles exclusively over on the Rumble side. Of course, speaking of Rumble, I'm getting an error message here in StreamYard, but StreamYard's been acting funky lately, so I'm going to try to fix that. Makes no sense. But we do have 3 articles that we are going to talk about while we're here on the YouTube side. And those 3 articles are George Lucas speaking on whether or not Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi met after their battle on Mustafar and before their battle on the Death Star. And another article we have is an interview from Superhero Hype where the showrunner... Yeah, Superhero Hype, where the showrunner for Invincible speaks on whether or not we'll see Spider-Man in the series anytime soon.
Do we want to see Spider-Man in the series?
I don't. I'm saying that right now. But it's not up to me. All right. And now the Rumble side should be up. I'll know here in just a moment. Or 2 or 3. Come on, Rumble. Rumble, Rumble, Rumble. Somebody's got to do it while Baron's not here. Come on, Rumble. Come on.
You can do
Work
it,
with us here.
You can do it.
Come on, come on. Not seeing anything yet. I'm just going to do an experiment. I'm not actually going to bring a second me onto the stream. I just want to see something here, Cash, before we start talking about the articles that we have.
Talking about the articles.
All right. Okay, it's giving me a green check mark. So hopefully the Rumble side will pop up here shortly. I'm just going to refresh it one more time. Come on, Rumble. Come on, cooperate with us, Rumble.
Come on.
You
can do it.
While I continue to monitor the situation over on Rumble and as to why we are not getting any broadcasts over there, we do have the new installment of Beverly Hills 414, Cash. And on this episode of Pacific 414,
oh my,
Beverly Hills 414, that is, T-Gap says, previously on Beverly Hills 414. Mike wasn't having the best or worst morning. He hadn't been able to get the ticket on his vet paid off. Something about how just gaudy and obnoxious the hood ornament was. He had, however, gotten a number to the cute clerk who had been behind the desk. Though he wasn't certain what area code 411 was, for she must have one heck of a commute to get in each day. Well, you think I'm that dense? I would put 2 and 2 together and go, wait a minute. He was halfway through the parking garage when he had to jump back to avoid being run over. Some maniac had nearly hit him in a Corvette. Wait, had nearly hit him in his own Corvette.
They maniacs. I don't know.
He was about to call 911 when the scent hit him. Mob number 3 by Chanel and chocolate-covered cherries. Oh no. There was only one woman who could or would make those scents.
Uh-oh.
He had to call Baron fast. Something tells me I need to change up the music real quick. So, I'm going to do that. All right.
Uh-oh.
Baroness Bon Bon was back. Hadn't she died in Paris? That incident with all the rabid Victoria's Secret models. Ooh, rabid Victoria's Secret models. Okay. Calling Baron as he ran, he hoped he'd be in time. Crypto woke up in the middle of the supermarket, surrounded by the remnants of half the cereal aisle with a box of Frankenberry clutched in his hands. He grunted and groaned and tossed it away.
Seems a little crazy.
Yeah. It's how these stories go.
Yes.
It was just like the case with the serial killer once again. Not that he had known the man was the killer at the time. He had just been chasing to get his DoorDash order back when the man nicked it.
I'm not sure Crypto likes DoorDash all that much, but yes, continue.
And why did it have to be Frankenberry? The least it could have been was Honeycomb or Lucky Charms. Well aware of the store's break it, bought it policy, he decided to slip out the back exit at the dock.
So he must have been really holding on to that cereal tightly. All right.
Yeah.
No.
The doors in the back were locked somehow. Each one he came to refused to open. There was no way he could go out the front without paying. He was stuck with no escape.
This
What
music
being
now
could
sounds
have
like
done this?
Zelda. Oh, go ahead, continue. I just had to point out this music is starting to sound like Zelda a little bit.
You know, I've heard a little bit of cues from the Star Wars prequels, like this part right here.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that could work too. Yep.
Yep.
Where the Jedi is getting slaughtered. Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Clean up aisle 15. The announcement was made on the overhead. He was running out of time to make his escape without having to pay for cereal he didn't remember eating, and without milk at that. Baron, to his credit, hadn't been idle ever since he found the note. He had spent an hour checking his home for booby traps. Boobies.
Of course.
Though given the Baroness, they were a concern. Not just her boobies, which were still lingering in his mind. They had always been his downfall. He had to remember to keep looking her in the eyes and not the rubberneck to take a peek. A horn honked and he saw Mike was outside in his Corvette to pick him up. Good, they can track down Crypto and make plans. The Baroness wasn't someone you went at half-ass, whole ass or nothing. So I got my Corvette back.
Yeah.
Cool. His butt was halfway into the passenger seat before he realized his mistake. It was Mike's car, but he wasn't in it. Mike didn't have a set of double D's snack trays to enter the room. I'm sorry for laughing, folks, but that's funny. He was about to jump out when a harsh voice hissed in his ears. Want to buy some cookies, mister? It wasn't a question, and he felt the sharp sting of a do-si-do against his neck. The Baroness and the Girl Scout cookie ninjas.
Oh no!
They had teamed up. As the car roared and headed off, Baron wondered just how much dire pearl the world was now about to have unleashed upon it. Can Mike catch up to his own car and rescue Baron from the infernal team-up of cookie ninjas and the Baroness? Will Crypto be forced to make a purchase or disguise himself as a potted plant or make a break for it? Why does he just take a uniform?
That's a good point.
And disguise himself as an employee. Mm-hmm. Can Baron manage to keep his eyes above the neckline of his most dire nemesis and her two friends? And we don't mean the cookie ninjas in the car. Stay tuned for another exciting episode of Beverly Hills 414 after these messages. Oh no. We gotta save Baron. He's in trouble.
He is, and for some reason
he's surrounded by the cookie ninjas and
the
Baroness Bonbon.
The Crypto really wants that cereal, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. Crypto loves his cereal, apparently. I never knew that about Crypto.
Frankenberry cereal or whatever. I haven't heard of that one. That must be a new brand.
It might be one of those that just exclusively come out during Halloween.
Yes, I think so. I think it does.
And I am still trying to get the Rumble side to cooperate. Come on, Rumble.
But yeah, that music also reminded me of like when you go into the other world of Zelda, and everything's destroyed. Destroyed.
Oh no.
Yep.
Baroness Von Bonbon's been through here.
She's been through there, man. She's a feisty lady, I hear.
All right, so everything's copied over once again. And let's see if it's cooperating now. No, it is not. Cash, I'll be right back.
Okay. I will continue. Hello, everybody. No, people have already said that. Okay, so let's talk about who's in the chat right now. We got Resolute Germ. Hello. Hope you're having a good day. Hunty. Hope things are going well. Jace is here, and Prismatics. And earlier I saw Padawannabe, which he'll pop up again soon, I'm sure. But yeah, I hope everybody's having a good day. We're having some technical difficulties, which unfortunately happens on streams, which sucks. But I don't know. It seems like StreamYard is having some issues lately, so we'll be ready to put out some articles here soon, hopefully. But I hope this week is going well for everybody. I hope there's some excitement going on there. I know we just was done with Halloween. So, and Mike just vanished again. So he'll be back. No, I am not, Jace. I'm not your... No. I refuse, man. uh, okay. Is it working now or?
No, it's not. So what I'll have to do is I'll just have to upload this episode to Rumble tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. Well, it'll only take a few hours, I guess. I don't know what's going on. Maybe YouTube's pulling. No, it's probably StreamYard. Yeah, it's obviously StreamYard. I don't know.
It's got to be StreamYards because it worked yesterday. So
Yeah. Dang it, StreamYard. All you have to do is cooperate. That's all we ask. But no, you have to be stingy. You have to be a pain in the ass.
yep.
Shame on you, StreamYard. Shame on you.
Yep. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm actually gonna remove the Rumble side as we're live here. Save changes,
Mhm.
and then I'm actually gonna re-add Rumble and see what happens. Not
Yep.
ready to give up just yet, Cash.
So what? What did I see the other day? That's okay. Oh yes, that opening weekend. I guess Marvels is the Marvels, whatever it's called. Yes, the Marvels is supposed to make about 75 million. I personally think it's going to make less, but maybe
I don't
I
think it's gonna make that much.
I have a feeling that movie cost about 200 million on their budget. Let me go check. I think it does. It might be less. It might be more. But as we know, these bloated budgets are not helping the studios. As we saw this summer, Mike.
Hmm. I mean, look at Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Bloated budget. Yep.
And speaking of Baron says
Oh,
they're on the way home.
awesome.
I'm happy to hear that, and like I said, take good care of her. She needs you.
Yep, exactly.
And I'm just looking at Rumble one more time to see if it's finally broadcasting over there. Yes, finally,
Dun dun dun.
finally. And there's only one clip I'm gonna play for that
All right.
because it seems like it's been that
3 hours later.
Mhm.
Sorry about the delay over on the Rumble side, folks. StreamYard wasn't cooperating.
No.
But I do want to take the time to say hello to everyone who is here right now. Of course, T Gap Steve, or Big Daddy T Gap, provided us with the latest episode of Beverly Hills 414. We also have Prismatics here. And Hunty is here as well.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
can
it
see
said
you-
all that earlier, but you can repeat yourself. That's fine.
uh, I'm not going to assume you acknowledged everybody.
I did, man. I did.
Of course, Resolute Germ is here.
But you can acknowledge them again.
The Padawannabe is here. What kind of host would I be if I didn't acknowledge the chat? And some guy from North A.
Yep.
I don't know. Hey, you ever seen this guy before?
I think so. Heard he was probably on yesterday, but I don't know. He might have been taken by the mole people in Norway. I'm not sure. So.
It's a good possibility.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then, of course, as we mentioned, Baron Orman Tagge. I hope you don't mind, Baron. If you don't mind, give me a 1 in the chat. If you do mind, put a 2 in the chat. And I'll let
1, 2,
people
3,
know
4,
why you're
5.
not here.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And then you have to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
11, 12. uh,
Man.
all right. And I do also want to show Hunty on the screen and acknowledge Hunty. Good to see you. Like I said, what kind of host would I be if I didn't acknowledge people?
That's right.
Okay. Baron says 1. The reason why Baron isn't with us for this evening's show is because he picked up the missus at the hospital.
Right.
She's been dealing with an ailment for the last several days, and she was discharged from the hospital today. So Baron knows the standard here for Pop Talk. When it comes to family, You don't even have to give an explanation as to why you're not going to be on the show. Family comes first.
Mm-hmm. Always, yeah. Yes, Padawannabe, definitely pick up the Batman collection. It's worth full price. It's worth even Arkham City. I would say is a great game, and then Arkham Knight is still a good game. It could have been better. There's some repetitive crap in there, but overall, I would still give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, it's a fun series to play. It's definitely a fun series worth getting into,
Mm-hmm.
and you have a lot of fun playing it for hours on end.
Yes, it will give you a
Try,
lot of
trying
fun.
to trying to come up with a strategy to take down the goons. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, yeah, you all know me. I look at it like, what, stealth, silent takedowns?
Yes.
Where's the fun of that? Come on.
And then he gets himself killed.
Yeah,
And then he goes,
yeah.
"All right, I'm going to do it again." And then he gets himself killed. And then he's like, "Okay, maybe this strategy is not working." Then he might try some stealth. And then he's like, "It's time to Rambo it again." And then, yeah.
Well, you know what happens. You start using stealth, and you go, oh, "Come on, this is ridiculous."
it
Come-
does work well in that game, though.
I know. But let's go ahead since we're going to be here for an hour on the YouTube side, then 2 hours over on the Rumble side. Let's go ahead and get into our first article here, and it's from Bounty in the Comics, and George Lucas himself explains how Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader never fought between their battle at Mustafar and the Death Star. Well, I think we all knew that. I mean, yes, Star
Hmm.
Wars was written before there was any thought to the prequels, but still, why have the two characters meet? Because Disney has no creativity.
It's more spoon feeding stuff and member berries. I agree. I don't know,
Mhm.
that Kenobi show could have been so much better. There's some things I liked about it, but overall it was just a mess. Riva was a terrible character, and I don't care if people want to hate me for that, but she was an awful character, poorly developed. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I didn't care about her as a
no,
villain. You know, I question why is Obi-Wan leaving Tatooine
mm,
when his main assignment from Yoda was to keep an eye over Luke.
yeah,
Bail Organa's mission was to protect Leia.
yeah, but I didn't hate their conversations. I just felt overall that show was a mess. Vader and Obi-Wan didn't need to fight. Didn't need to happen.
Nope. So this article is by John F. Trent. It was posted on Monday. It says Star Wars creator George Lucas explained why Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi never fought between their battle at Mustafar and the Death Star, despite the entire premise of the Disney Plus Obi-Wan Kenobi series revolving around a rematch between the two before their meeting on the Death Star. Well, that's Disney. They don't care about canon. Lucas provided commentary on the original Star Wars film for the release of the DVDs back in 2004. As part of his commentary, Lucas detailed there's another story going on, excuse me, on here where Vader senses that Obi-Wan is on the Death Star. One of the fun things for me about this movie was that I was making it episode 4, which is why I was so adamant about having that on the film. There's a lot of backstory that just, it's interesting. The film was successful as it is, and I hardly told any of the story. But the other backstory is they had this whole confrontation thing, and Obi-Wan almost killed him. And he put him in this suit, everything, and now they're confronting each other again after all these years, he added. Not only did Lucas make these comics back in 2004, but he also made it
Mm.
clear back in 1981 during, excuse me, the Revenge of the Jedi story conference. Lucas comments were recently collected in Star Wars Archives 1999 to 2000 by Paul Duncan back in 2020. Duncan shared an excerpt of the book to Twitter that shows Lucas' commentary from the story conference. As part of the commentary, he details how Obi-Wan, Kenobi, and Vader never encountered each other after Mustafar. Ben takes one and gives him a couple out there on Tatooine. He gets his little hideout in the hills and watches him grow. Ben can't raise Luke himself because he's a wanted man. Leia and Luke's mother go to Alderaan and are taken by the king there. It says, who is a friend of Ben's. She dies shortly thereafter, and Leia is brought up by her foster parents. She knows that her real mother died, he continued. Lucas added, I think you can make Ben take the blame for Vader. I should have given him more training. I should have sent him to Yoda, but I thought I could be as good teacher as Yoda. I wish that I could stop this pestilence that I've unleashed on the galaxy. His burden is that he feels responsible for everything that Vader has done.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
here you see a copy of George Lucas's quotes. Author J.W. Go ahead, Cash.
Go ahead. Oh, I was just saying, yeah. I mean, we see that in Revenge of the Sith. I have failed you, Anakin. I have failed you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think anybody with a sense of morals or something where they think they're doing something right is that unfortunately Kenobi did fail, but he didn't realize that Palpatine's hold on him would be so strong. So
Well, it
he
wasn't
just didn't
just.
see it come. That it wasn't just that, but it was building. We saw this in Attack of the Clones.
Mhm.
It this whole thing of anger was building, and of course, uh, Palpatine was happy to expose that, use
And
that
it,
to his
it wasn't
advantage.
just
Yeah,
Obi-Wan's failure. It was the
no,
failure of the entire
yes,
Jedi Council.
true, true. And even if we always go back and forth and stuff, yes, Mace Windu was probably being unfair to Anakin, but maybe he also sensed something too, and he had to completely
Mhm.
prove himself, and he felt that his judgment was still clouded. Yeah.
Yep. It goes on to say author J.W. Winsler published similar quotations in his book, The Making of Star Wars Return of the Jedi, back in 2013. In Rinsler's book, Lucas details the president is turning into an emperor, and Luke's mother suspects that something has happened to her husband. She is pregnant, Anakin gets worse and worse, and finally Ben has to fight him, and he throws him down into a volcano, and Vader is all beat up.
Hmm.
Says now when he falls into this pit, his other arm goes, his leg, and there is hardly anything left of him by the time the Emperor's troops fish him out of the drink. Then, when Ben finds out that Vader has been fished out, and is in the hands of the Empire, he is worried about it. He goes back to Vader's wife and explains that Anakin is the bad guy, the one killing all the Jedi, explains Lucas. He goes on to detail when he goes back to his wife, Miss Skywalker has had the kids, the twins, so she has these two little babies who are 6 months old or so. So everybody has to go into hiding.
Hmm.
The Skywalker line is very strong with the Force. So Ben says, I think we should protect the kids because they may be able to help us right the wrong that your husband has created in the universe. And so Ben takes one and gives him to a couple out there on Tatooine, and he gets his little hideout in the hills and watches him grow, says Lucas.
Hmm.
From there, he explains Ben can't raise Luke himself because he
No.
wanted a man. Leia and Luke's mother go to Alderaan and are taken
Mhm.
in by the king there, who was a friend of Ben's. She dies shortly thereafter, and Leia is brought up by her foster parents. She knows that her real mother died.
Hmm.
Lucas is then asked if Leia, excuse me, if Leia knows her mother dies, to which he responds, yes, so we can bring that out when Luke is talking to her. She can say that her mother died when I was 2 years old. Despite all the evidence, Lucasfilm under Kathleen Kennedy decided to throw it all into the trash can to create their Obi-Wan Kenobi show that saw Kenobi confront Vader not just once between their battle at Mustafar, the Death Star, but a second time. Not only do they confront each other, but their initial battle is an extremely poorly written scene that sees Vader easily destroy Kenobi. However, while Vader weighs Kenobi, the pure stupidity of the scene comes from Vader allowing to Kenobi to be rescued by a droid. Vader just stand there and watches as the droid comes in and grabs Kenobi. He does not take any action whatsoever. Thus, Lucasfilm trashed the original intention of George Lucas for a cheap gimmick. Yeah, they absolutely did. It just goes to show it doesn't matter if it's Star Wars or if it's Star Trek, even if the creator has something written down, people currently writing the stories don't give a shit.
Well, it's just the Kenobi show. A didn't need to be made. B,
Nope.
I understand people wanted it because see Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi again. I get it,
Yeah, I get that
but
too. Still there, Cash?
yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, somebody was talking to me. It's okay. It's important though. It was though. um, no, you like I said, the Star Wars shows, the Kenobi show. It's not about if you like this or not, but you have to ask yourself: do you need this? Uh, did you want this? There's just background that's missing, and even in a show like this, while Anakin got more screen time, Hayden Christensen got more screen time on the show Ahsoka. He should have gotten more screen time on this. We should have
Hmm.
seen in this situation. We should have seen more background. Now, I don't know. Other people, I'm sure, were like, "Oh, he has to stay on Tatooine." I wasn't against him going to another planet, but the thing was, like, with the chase scene and then the double chase scene, and then they repeated certain things, and I think if I remember, I liked Talia. I think it was Talia. Uh, but she like sacrificed herself. Oh no, spoiler! But it's just a lot of things. Like when I see Inquisitors
Hmm.
in Revenge of the Sith, they were intimidating, especially the way they looked. In this, the only Inquisitor that was intimidating that I found was a woman who had like wires coming out of her body,
Yeah.
top around her neck. She looked intimidating. She's like, oh god, this woman might torture me. But the other ones just didn't look intimidating.
Mhm.
And Riva and the other Inquisitor, the three, and then I'm just not a big fan of the spinny lightsabers too. I know they can float and do a helicopter. I'm just not the biggest fan of those lightsabers. But just I wanted when I think of a Star Wars show,
Mhm.
I like the intimidation. There was
Yeah.
intimidation in stuff like The Mandalorian 1 and 2. I think season 1 is probably better than 2, but I did like season 2. I want that intimidation. I want that um that there's a chance someone could die. There's a chance someone can live. They're being more heroic. And I don't like this whole thing where we just throw things on the screen, it seems, and we'll see what sticks.
Yeah. And at the end of this article, it asks what did we think about George Lucas's comments about the fact that Kenobi and Vader never fought after their battle
Hmm.
on Mustafar and before their battle on Death Star. His word carries more weight, especially when it's written down
Right.
and there's a record of him saying it.
Right. And you can still build the tension without them fighting again.
Hmm.
That's the thing. You definitely can. We've seen this before in movies. We've seen this before in TV shows.
It's like you were telling me last night. You had read one of the expanded universe books where Obi-Wan actually sees an image of Vader and knows exactly who that is.
Hmm. Yes, and even when you read other stuff from the EU, which I wish Disney would actually care. The thing is, if they're going to start fixing things with Lucasfilm, they're going to have to do one or two things. They're either selling it off, I think, or they start finding a brain more on this stuff. And I just Ahsoka is just another example. Like with Kenobi, I guess you can look at it that they retcon things that already happened. Like they didn't need to fight, but it's also with the show of the Ahsoka. Like I actually enjoyed Rebels, and there was a lot of good stuff, and there was sacrifice even with Kanan. But
Hmm.
the whole thing, how they changed it in Ahsoka, which to me should have connected so well, it really was aggravating to me. So um, I don't know why they keep doing this stuff. There's just so much more they can do. That's why if you're involved with a fan project or stuff, just do more because Disney's not willing to do this stuff for some reason.
No.
Yeah. They're just not willing to do this stuff. It's not just about like woke stuff, Phil. It's just that it's just weird ideas that just don't really make any sense to me. Now, if people like that direction, that's fine. But it is funny to me that Disney continues to keep hiding the ratings on these Star Wars shows. So there must be something going on there because we have to hear about the ratings from somebody else. But these shows just can be so much more. Everything can connect a lot better. Characters can die. Just like even Sabine in the first episode, she could have died. That could have just changed everything. But they
Hmm.
just are so afraid to do these things because they're so like, oh, these are my characters and they can't die and they're very important and blah blah blah. But we know in Star Wars characters die. We know even in Andor
Hmm.
characters died. Yes.
Although Han Solo's death was just pathetic. That's not the
Yeah,
way you kill a hero.
it wasn't the best for sure. It was just yeah, it could have been better. And even if his son did it, uh, which his son did, but they could have done it better. Yes.
Yeah. And I do want to say hello to Phil McCracken.
Hmm.
Why is there woke stuff in Cash Money Star Wars? Well, why is there woke stuff in current Star Wars? I know the answer to that. You know the answer to that.
Yeah.
And everybody else in the chat knows
Well,
the answer to that.
it's
Hold on,
okay.
Cash. Hold on. I'm trying to lead up to something,
All
Cash.
right. All right.
But we all know the reason why.
You might think everything is okay, but Disney, he's gonna get you. Kathleen Kennedy's gonna get you. Disney and Kathleen Kennedy are gonna get you.
It's not
I'm gonna play
just
that until it gets old.
it'll never get old, I don't think. But no, it's not so much the woke stuff because even people are coming out and saying now like, oh, there's a female lead in this, so it's woke. It's like, come on, guys, now we're just getting ridiculous. It's more about just it's a mess because of where the map is going. It's just it doesn't the patterns it goes and the direction it goes, it doesn't make any sense because the characters already been established. And then
Hmm.
they change this. It's the same thing with this whole thing about villains. They have to be misunderstood. Villains should be more than just one dimension. And I think we also talked about this the other day. Like, it's like the Empire, they need to make this a bigger deal. Or I was talking to Phil about this, but um, it's just like they're always supposed to be evil. this whole thing about becoming misunderstood, like they just don't understand things. That's why reading about people like Cade Skywalker or whatever, his character is very interesting, and how he wants to reject the Force because
Mhm.
he feels a certain way, or he feels that it's done so much damage to his life that he must reject it. I like those kind of storylines, and Disney seems to be A, afraid to do this, B, they don't care, or C, they just want to throw things on there that stick. And even
What
with
about all the
characters,
above?
yeah, even with characters like Sabine, I found her interesting in Rebels. So why are we making her less interesting? Oh, she's more interesting because she can use the Force. She was never shown to be able to use the Force. So why are we doing this now? Because it's all about that it seems to me, because she's a woman, and that's why she has to have all these powers and be able to be smart. It's like, you guys don't understand. There's always been female characters throughout many different mediums that were smart. April
Mhm.
O'Neil is smart. She's not an idiot. She's a news reporter. She helps people. That's just an example. So we keep going back to this, and it's like Sabine, the way they had her character, she's this rebel, obviously.
Mhm.
She's smart, she's sarcastic, she's witty. That was fine, but no, that they have to change her now. And this whole thing about her trying to find Ezra is just stupid. They could have done it so much better. And even I would have liked the thing where like Sabine could have changed Ezra back when Thrawn like turned him. It's just, there's all these cool things that they could do with Star Wars. It's the same with the Kenobi show. I like seeing Kenobi broken. He's at a meat plant. I actually like that. But where
Mhm.
they went with the show is where I have a problem with. Yep. Yes, she was. I agree,
Mhm.
Phil. Yes. This stuff is crazy to me. And so if people like this, that's fine. But I really would like to see the numbers for all these Star Wars shows, because when they started The Mandalorian, we had intimidation, it's this bounty hunter, and whatever people want to say about Cara Dune, she was a good character and she did add to the show.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter how you feel about Gina Carano. She still added to the show, and that's just how I've always felt. She was a good character, and I was looking forward to that spin-off her, the one that Jon Favreau was going to do. So
Yeah, and you
unfortunately, it
know,
never happened. But
I've said this to you and Baron off stream. I've said it on stream. If you're going to write in a particular
hmm
universe, whether it's Doctor Who,
right,
whether it's Marvel, whether it's DC, Star Wars, Star Trek, then you respect the intentions of the creator.
yep,
Meaning, if you're going
exactly.
to write a Star Trek series, make sure that your series fits in that universe.
I think so.
If you're going to write a Star Wars TV show or movie, make sure that what you're writing fits in that universe.
Yep. And don't worry. And look, if you are enjoying this stuff, that's fine. We're not here to criticize you because you like it. People
No.
can like whatever they want, but just understand that they could always do so much more. And people say, "Oh, they're asking for too much." No, because we've seen more before. So why wouldn't we want more?
Okay, Pat and Wannabe's interested in buying the Arkham collection because it's on sale.
hmm
That's a series of games that pays respect to the
Yes,
universe that those games are in,
I agree.
to the characters,
It does.
to the setting.
hmm
Gotham Knights, no, not nearly as well as the Arkham series.
No, no. Gotham Knights has even more repetitive stuff, I would say, than even
Hmm.
Arkham Knight. Yep.
And we're not done with this Star Wars talk or even talking about anything related to current Lucasfilm because Gina Carano has made some waves and it's gotten some people upset.
Oh no.
And all I've got to say is, Gina was there. She experienced everything that is currently happening at Lucasfilm
Yep.
under the Disney banner.
Yep.
So this was her response to South Park's joining the Pandaverse, which I couldn't stop laughing when I was watching it.
hmm It was funny.
Yeah. Gina Carano weighs in on South Park joining the Pandaverse, reveals, excuse me, Disney asked her to unfollow certain accounts because they said bad things about Kathleen Kennedy. Oh no. Oh no. And since Barrett isn't here, I'm going to play one of his favorite clips, and it's also one of ours.
Mhm.
The hell you say?
All right, so this article is by Spencer McCauley. It was also posted on Monday. It says, given her own personal history with the company and its notorious producer, it should come as no surprise to find that actress Gina Carano has thoughts on the South Park joining the Pandaverse special and its criticisms of Disney and Kathleen Kennedy's ruinous obsession with identity politics. Goes on to say, offering a rare criticism of the House of Mouse's ongoing creative implosion, joining the Pandaverse begins with Cartman finding himself played. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put up spoilers for those who haven't seen it.
hmm Yeah, it's a good idea. Just recently came out. So.
Joining the Pandaverse, Cartman finding himself plagued with nightmares in which he and the rest of South Park citizens, for no reason and with no explanation, has suddenly been replaced by diverse women complaining about the patriarchy. Unfortunately, I can't do a good impression of Cartman. Otherwise, I would have read that as Cartman. The last time I had the dream, I was walking down the school hallway, and then I see Butters, Cartman recounts to the therapist, and that's when I begin to notice that something's wrong. Everyone I care about has been systematically replaced. And finally, I want to scream, and I'm like, why are they replacing every single character with someone who is diverse? It's funnier when you hear Cartman say it.
Yes.
But then Kenny's like, it's not our fault. It's because of Kathleen Kennedy. He continues, his words becoming ever more panicked by the second. Excuse me, sorry. But then Kathleen Kennedy is like, F it, make it more lame. And everyone in town is like, no, please, Kathleen Kennedy, stop ruining everything. But Kathleen Kennedy is like, put another gay, diverse woman in it. Make it more effing lame. And Disney stock just keeps going down and down and down. And then Bob Iger's all like, no, no, what's happening to my stocks? No Kathleen Kennedy. Yet while the therapist dismisses these nightmares as nothing more than stress dreams stemming from his fear of being replaced by AI, Cartman soon discovers that they were actually glimpses into the multiverse, the truth becoming apparent to him just as he and his diverse female counterpart, who herself was experiencing the same dreams but in reverse, are forcibly swapped into each other's universe. Meanwhile, as both Cartman's and the respective Stans, Kyle's, and Kenny's, oh my god, they killed Kenny! You bastard! Set out to correct this error, Bob Iger and the Disney board come to the realization that the version of Kennedy currently roaming their halls and greenlighting films, a Cartman variant whose core creative principle is put a chick in it and make her lame and gay, is not their own. Sure enough, the board soon comes to understand that not only has Kennedy been replaced, but that the situation was caused when the company's use of overuse of the Panderstone, an ancient piece of artificial intelligence that could be used to make the same movies over and over again while appealing to absolutely everyone, tore open a hole in the multiverse. Eventually, crossing paths on the diverse world of Earth number 216b, Kennedy and Cartman called temporary truce in order to find their way back to their home universe. In doing so, the two are afforded a moment to clear the air, during which the two air their respective grievances over how the other handled their disagreements over the current state of Disney's current catalog, in particular the Star Wars franchise. The Panda Stone worked great for a while, Kennedy tells Cartman. But then came the hate mail, ugly letters from racists who could stand that, who couldn't stand, is what she actually said in the episode, who couldn't stand that some of the Anderson's rehashes had diverse women characters in the lead. I decided I would show them. I would start making movies to fight all the bigotry in our society. But instead of doing any real work, I turned to the Panderstone, she then admits. It made things so much easier. Soon, I was using the Panderstone over and over again to try and fight all the ugly feedback, which in turn was growing stronger and stronger. But I was fighting with the wrong tool. I used the Panderstone so much that it became unstable. It opened a portal to multiple universes, and something came through. Turning to this meeting with her Cartman counterpart, Kennedy. Sorry. Sorry.
You all right? Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay. You know, it's change of seasons, and
Uh
I hate this time of year.
huh. I understand.
Okay, it says her Cartman counterpart Kennedy recalls. At first we fought, and I tried to send it back to its universe, but it got the upper hand. It was able to instead to send me to this universe, out of its way so it could thrive in ours. Surprisingly, rather than vitriol, Cartman instead meets Kennedy's story with acceptance, admitting that's actually the best explanation I've heard as to why Disney movies all suck now. I understand that maybe you were trying to make a difference, Kathleen, he tells the producer, but you have to admit the last few movies you shut out have been real stinkers. All I ever wanted was to make great entertainment. Believe me, she explains to Cartman in turn. But as soon as you start getting piles and piles of hate mail, endless messages calling you the C word, you can't think straight. In a moment of levity, amidst an otherwise stark discussion, Cartman then admits, well, I'm sorry I wrote all those letters. It was probably a bit much. Kennedy then attempts to reassure Cartman, no, I got like 10,000 letters a day, to which he corrects. I was doing more like 12,000 to 13,000, especially after the new Indiana Jones came out. Says, met with this revelation, Kennedy proceeds to exclaim, then it's you. You're the one who caused all this. F you, Cartman fires back. You're the one who caused all this. Offering a defense of her actions, Kennedy then affirms, I wouldn't have tried to fight racism with the Panderstone if you hadn't written all those letters, prompting Cartman to likewise declare, I wouldn't have written all those letters if you hadn't tried to fight racism with a effing Panderstone. However, rather than continuing to argue, Kennedy he instead observes, so that's what it is. So that's it. That's the connection. I reacted to you, you reacted to me. Realizing himself, I guess we created each other, Cartman then admits to his rival, Miss Kennedy. I don't think I've ever said this before in my life, but I'm sorry. I lashed out so hard and used the C word so many times, you didn't really have a choice but to double down. Offering her own apology, Kennedy then asserts, Eric, I know you care about all things Disney. I'm sorry. I was so reckless with the things you love. I was just lazy. Showing one last moment of humility, just as a portal back to their universe appears behind them, Cartman closes out the conversation by likewise acknowledge, I guess just wailing on woke stuff all the time is pretty lazy too. And it's this last exchange in particular which drew Carano's attentions. Retweeting a clip of the scene, which notably cuts just after Cartman's declaration that Kennedy's story was the best explanation I've heard as to why Disney movies all suck now, as shared by the nerd news outlet Geeks and Gamers. Carano declared, this is the part where KK demands any YouTubers get censored off of YouTube for sharing and laughing at this hilarious episode. She'll have YouTube disable the thumbs down option because of the ratio she'll receive. Then she'll have her publicist goals make sure Variety and Hollywood Reporter run hit pieces about the South Park creators and their families, smearing their names through every useful idiot she has under her thumb who would sell their soul to work for Lucasfilm, said the former Mandalorian star. She'll activate her online mob to repeat that South Park creators are racist, bigot, transphobes, and demand the South Park creators publicly apologize by only using words she approves of. And finally, she'll demand they subject themselves, sorry, to a re-education course of 45 people in the LGBTQ community Zoom call to sit there and listen to how badly they got their feelings hurt all over a little boop of a South Park episode. Ultimately ending on a cheeky note, Carano sardonically concluded, but maybe, just maybe, the jig is up. Unsurprisingly, while Carano's tweet was met with a wave of support and adulation from her fans, it also drew its fair share of criticism from her detractors, of course. One such critic, though brief, came from the official Twitter account of Around the Galaxy podcast, wherein its administrator informed their followers, in case you are wondering, Gina Carano has lost her goddamn mind. Okay, so it brought out the usual suspects who don't like what Kathleen Kennedy had to say. Well, I'm sorry, Gina Carano,
You mean
but
Gina Carano?
yeah, I corrected myself. But you know what?
Gonna get you.
Matt Stone and Trey Parker, the creators of South Park, have always poked fun at society and entertainment and what's
and
going
everything.
on.
And they've made some mistakes on their shows too. Sometimes their
course they
episodes
have.
have gotten really weird, and you go, no. I mean, I still am not a big fan of the second part of the COVID show, but I would say overall their resume is impressive because they have poked fun. I mean, if you're gonna poke fun at Meghan Markle and Harry, yes. You're gonna poke fun at Disney, it's easy. Poke fun at DC, I don't know, are they as bad as Disney? Probably not, but they're not on a good track record with that Ezra Miller guy. But the just these problems can be fixed. The question is, are the presidents, the higher ups, whatever, are they willing to fix it? And if you're upsetting the investors, that's never a good thing.
Well, even at the end of the episode, Kathleen says to Bob Iger, I'm not going to actually say what it was, but the only thing I'm going to say that Bob Iger responds in the episode is, sure, Kathleen, sure.
Yep, exactly. Yep. We'll see how Wish does for Disney. That's the next animated film coming out. So we'll see how that comes out. There's already been a bit of backlash with that, with Chris Pine being the villain, and is he misunderstood, this and that. Yes, people get crazy about stuff. I mean, things in Star Wars, things this, the Metachlorians, whatever. But people also have constructive criticism too, and they don't even want to listen to that either. So
No. No, you have some people that think so highly of themselves that
yes.
nothing they do is wrong.
Yep. And remember, guys, just like things like the Mass Effect thing with Casey Hudson, other stuff, when people come out and say this is not going to be in the game or this is not going to be in the property, and it is, it's going to piss people off. Now, sure, it shouldn't you let it ruin your life, but when you put some time into something, if it's a game, if it's a show, if it's a movie, and they promised, they come out on TV or whatever, say that this is not going to be in this show, and it is, you can understand why people are angry or why it just upsets them. They don't have to throw something or get upset, but even like the ending to Mass Effect 3, still it has very bad taste in a lot of people's mouths because of way things went, because of choices people made in the game, because things that were promised. So, yeah, it can be a mess.
Just like Picard season 3, that was a mess.
I still believe it is, and I know other people like it, and that's fine. But
That's fine. Let them like it.
There's just things in there that just made absolutely no sense to me because of what we had before. If Mike and I were writing any kind of Star Trek, any kind of fan fiction, I'm sure we would follow everything from TNG even before that TOS, just because we care so much about those characters, and we would want things to continue. If we were writing a Klingon show, for example, we would follow what has already been happening and then just build on that.
I mean, let's also look at it this way too. If you want to talk about Star Trek from 66 to 2005, you look at all 735 episodes,
Mm-hmm.
and that counts the original series, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Enterprise.
Yep.
And you make sure you're not repeating something that's already been done. Or
Yep.
even if you do decide to give your perspective on a story that's been done, make sure it's different enough.
Right. Exactly. That's why this fan stuff can turn out better than other stuff, even if they do any kind of version of it that's not even white. You can just tell how much passion there is because they care so much about the characters. It doesn't matter, and it shouldn't matter. You can watch a show like Luther that stars a black man, Idris Elba. His character is so complex. He's not just a detective; he's something else, and so it's very interesting about what Doctor Who is a very complex character. But when you dummy these characters down that have been around for so many years and were written a certain way, you should just build on what the character already was. And if you want to change it, don't make them stupid. Don't make another character smarter than the other one. We know both characters, if they're male or female or alien characters, whatever, they can be just as smart.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about a good character.
Okay.
As soon as StreamYards wants to share it. We
Mhm.
have this article from comicbook.com. And sorry, I'm so tired of these allergies.
I'm sorry, man. It sucks.
It does. I'm sorry for anybody that's wearing earphones and has to hear me coughing because of it. But we have this article from comicbook.com, and it says My Hero Academia reveals the reason All Might won't be killed off. My Hero Academia has revealed the reason why All Might won't die, like the series seems to foreshadow. This is by Kofi Outlaw. It was posted on Monday, and it says My Hero Academia has kept fans guessing and dreading the moment that the series could kill off one of its biggest icons, All Might. Since My Hero Academia began back in 2014, fans of the series have seen death flags hanging all over All Might, from the crippling injury slowly breaking down his body, the soul spirit that already exists inside, one for all, to the numerous foreshadows, including one future prophecy that All Might would fall in some kind of battle with a villain or his nemesis, all for one. It's been all but assured their hero would die. That is until now. Goes on, and I'm keeping that spoilers just in case. Just in case. It says in My Hero Academia, chapter 405, series creator Kohei Horikoshi finally makes a meta style about face turn by having All Might come to the realization that the assurance of his death isn't as certain as he and we have always thought it was. The chapter picks up the final war arc with the pivotal moment when Katsu, Katsuki Bakugo, I don't know why I can't speak right now, finally makes his return to the battlefield after suffering some seemingly fatal injuries. Bakugo made his return just in time to save All Might from death at the hands of All for One, who has had the benefit of having his physical form de-age through Ares' rewind quirk into its useful form. Even with a suit of high-tech quirk mimicking armor, All Might ended up suffering massive injuries and looked like he was going to die for sure. But Bakugo came exploding back onto the scene. In a vision, All Might talks to his old, now dead partner, Night Eye, who assures him that this
Oh,
was the moment of death he foresaw with his quirk,
just
and
keep
warned
reading. Oh, sorry, not to interrupt you. Just keep reading. I'll be back. Phil and I haven't gotten to this. We're still just on season 3.
all right, all right. That's why I get the spoiler card up.
Yep, I know.
Foresaw of his quirk and warned about, however, fate has been reshaped by the youth, and All Might's notion of a tragic Shonen style mentor character death no longer applies. You are a hero, but you're also human, Night Eye tells All Might. That can't possibly die so readily. The moment is a major thematic payoff for My Hero Academia's story. If you're following it closely, at the start of the story, both Bakugo and the series lead, Izuku Midoriya, were inspired by the example of All Might's heroism, but only Deku truly embodied as he started out powerless like Toshinori Yagi. He possessed the same kind of selfless heart, throwing himself into danger to save the reckless Bakugo from a villain attack. Over the course of the manga's animated run, Bakugo has slowly but surely learned from Deku's example and started to emulate it in his own heroic practice. The fact that he threw himself into harm's way to save his own idol from a dark fate is about as big a moment for Bakugo, the biggest supporting character in the series, as we could have hoped. That is, unless Bakugo is the one to finish All for One, while Deku takes down Tomura Shigaraki. That's the kind of epic conclusion My Hero Academia fans have been praying for. It says that My Hero Academia releases new manga chapters online. So it'll be interesting to see if they actually incorporate this into the series. Yes, we're finding out that they're doing this in the manga, but what from the manga will actually translate to the series? And Cass, you can come back now.
All right, can I come back? Okay, yeah. I just don't want to spoil too much of myself with this because I'm only on season 3.
Well, this is mainly talking about the manga.
Yeah. Okay. Well, still, it will connect
Yeah,
into the
yeah.
animated show. It's all right. I don't usually mind spoilers. It's like, no, I don't want to know, but some of that I did hear, so it's okay. Yes, of course.
And of course, he thinks it's the Keenan Legend of Pop Talk, and he
He
does nothing
thinks.
wrong.
He thinks. He always
Hmm.
thinks that he did nothing wrong.
Yeah, yeah, Mr. Keenan Legend of Pop Talk.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep.
Surely you
Keenan
can't be
Legend.
serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Yeah, seriously, Phil. Don't call us Shirley. God. Phil.
And oh man, I still have a few episodes of season 6 to finish. I know, it's already been out for a while, and I still haven't finished it yet, but I will.
I think there's going to be. I think the show will continue. I think there'll be a season 7. I'm pretty sure, but yeah.
It would surprise me if there wasn't.
So, and I'm not. If they don't want to kill off All Might, that's fine. He's been through a lot already, though. I mean, I'm on season 3. It's like, oh, no. So, but I do love this whole thing in the show about the villains taking out the hero of peace, and then we will show you how vulnerable this world really is. Like that is some serious evil stuff, and I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I know you like All Might because he's your avatar on Discord.
Yep. Yeah, I think he's a great character.
And speaking of superheroes, this will be the last story for the YouTube side
Okay.
before we go over to Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
We have this story from Superhero Hype. And it says Invincible showrunner tells fans to wait and see about possible Spider-Man appearance. So let me get the links into the chat. I'm just sucking on a cough drop right now. Trying to tame that cough.
No problem, man. Yeah, I don't know if I haven't really looked into this connection of Invincible. I need to watch the first season. I haven't done that yet. I hear really good things about it.
Well, if you have Amazon Prime, it's on there. Okay. So this article was posted on Monday. The majority of the articles I found were from Monday, so I thought, you know what, I'm going with these.
It's Monday.
Somebody's got the case of the Mondays. And this article is by Lee Frutag. I don't know if I said that right. It says Invincible showrunner Simon Racioppa. I don't know. Recently addressed the fans' theories speculating that Spider-Man will make an appearance in the show's upcoming season. I'd love to have crossovers with all the DC and Marvel, all these characters. I mean, in our show, you gotta have to wait and see if that's the thing that can happen or not. He said to the Hollywood Handle. I've never heard of them before.
Mm-hmm. No, I haven't either.
I'd love that to happen. Is very tricky nowadays for Marvel. They sometimes license their characters to other studios. So crossing over in television is way harder than in comic books. It says that Invincible and Spider-Man previously met in comics. While it might seem weird for fans to strongly believe that Spider-Man, a character from Marvel Comics, might appear in an animated adaptation of Invincible, an Image Comics character, there is precedent. The two young heroes previously cross paths in Marvel's comics. Marvel Team Up number 14 in 2006, which connected to Image Comics' Invincible. Fans have been theorizing that Marvel's Wallcrawler could be making an appearance this season. I hate this cough. Ever since they noticed the cover of Marvel Team Up number 14 on Invincible's phone screen in the season 2 teaser, which was released back in January 2023. Well, it could be where the creators are just acknowledging what has happened in the comics.
Yep. Was that site called the Hollywood Handle?
Yeah.
That's some British site. .co? Maybe not.
Here, I'll get the link and I'll put it in the private chat and the public chat on.
I'm looking at it right now. I'm curious where this. Never heard of this site. But
I haven't heard about it until I read this article.
Time to do a little research.
And I try to go into the articles with a fresh take.
Right. Let's see. Hollywood.
All right.
Handle.
It says Invincible and Spider-Man previously met in the comics, and I see you over there on the Rumble side, Jace. While it might seem weird for fans to strongly believe that Spider-Man, a character from Marvel Comics, might appear in an animated adaptation, let's see.
I'm with Jace, though. Why? Unless there's a good reason for it. Unless there's a good reason for it.
Yeah. Okay. Here's where I actually left off. It says, additionally, Josh Keaton, who voiced Peter Parker in the 2008-2009 animated series The Spectacular Spider-Man, and a number of other projects, is listed as one of Invincible Season 2's many guests. Furthermore, Sony has a deal with Prime Video, Invincible's home streaming service. Sorry, I hate this.
Yeah, man, it sucks. Okay, so according to this Hollywood Handle started in 2021 as a social media page before expanding into the rest of the entertainment world in its own site in 2022. Since then, the Hollywood Handle continues its mission to cover the latest buzz from the entertainment world, review fan favorite movies and television shows, interview acclaimed stars and creativities in the industry, and more. Creatives, yeah. With over 1,000 of followers and readers from over 20 countries throughout the world. Wow. Okay.
And it does mention that Sony has the deal with Prime Video for a number of upcoming Spider-Man spin-off shows. Finally, Season 2 is delving into the multiverse with the introduction of supervillain Angstorm Levy, a character who can open portals to alternate dimensions. However, Racioppa said the only thing stopping the Marvel Universe from being part of the Invincible multiverse is potential licensing issues. At this time, no crossover has been officially announced, meaning that fans shouldn't get their hopes too high about seeing the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man in Invincible. The first season of Invincible, including the Adam Eve special, is currently streaming on Prime Video. The first 4 episodes of Season 2 will debut on November 3rd, 2023. That's Friday. Followed by the remaining 4 episodes in early 2024. So, the whole reason I selected the article was because I have seen Invincible, and I know there are fans who know about Invincible, especially because of the comics.
Right.
And I was just curious to know whether or not Spider-Man was or was not going to appear. Not that I think Spider-Man needs to appear. I think Invincible needs to be on its own.
I agree.
And not rely on guest appearances from characters from Marvel or DC.
Yes. Okay, so this is in New York, United States, New York. That's where the Hollywood handle is. So this is a American website.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And now, since we've reached our hour, well, more like an hour and 15 minutes or so, but who's counting? Over on the YouTube side, stand by, Rumble. We will continue with another hour on Rumble, but I do want to thank each and every one of you for being here. First, let me get this comment from Jace real quick. He says the show has done well and don't need any crossover with Marvel or DC. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
No.
But I want to take the time to thank those who are over on the YouTube side. I want to thank T-Gab Steve. I also want to thank Prismatics. I also want to thank Resolute Germ. The Padawannabe. We had Jace from 540 Studios. Of course, Barrett, who is hopefully by now taking the long-suffering Mrs. Tagge home, where she will get plenty of pampering from Barrett.
Yes, definitely.
And Hunty, it was nice to see you here. And of course, Chaos, DDOD, Pit Viper, TKO. He was here. Phil McCracken, the guy who thinks he's the king and legend of Pop Talk, but he fails to realize there can only be one ruling party, and that's the Emperor. Emperor Pacific. And of course, DJ Ronnie G, who's freezing because there is a cold front up north. But I hope you're able to get warm soon, DJ. And Cash, before we go, do you have anything you want to promote?
Oh, I'm still, well, we've got Myth Force. No, actually, are we going to Myth Force? No, we're going to play Bro Force. Bro Force on Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I will be with Mike tomorrow around, I think, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern.
We'll be playing a few hours of River City Girls 2.
Hopefully I won't be coughing as much.
Right? Hopefully Mike won't be as coughing as much. And then still this week, I'm still going to do Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I want to finish that, get more of that done. So maybe even finish it this week. That'd be great. Depends how many hours I put in. It's funny. They say that game was 5 hours and 32 minutes, but I've been able to do more. So I'm like, I still don't think it was a $70 game, though. I still feel it's more of a $60 game, but I'm enjoying it. And considering Insomniac's games nonsense lately, I'm like, see, you guys can do things again without all this bullshit, but it depends who works at these companies, unfortunately.
Yeah. From the top to the ones developing the game.
Yep.
And as far as PACIFIC414 is concerned, well, you already heard Cash say that we will be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern for more of River City Girls. And then, of course, I will be with Cash and Baron playing Myth Force over on the Phantom Hooligans. I can't call it the Bulligans now because October is over.
Bulligans, yes.
And then Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern on both the YouTube and Rumble channels will be the Sunday edition of PACIFIC414 Pop Talk. We're going to welcome back Jace. That's right. You're not only seeing him once this week, but twice this week. He will be with us. And then next Wednesday, on the YouTube and Rumble channels for Pop Talk. We will be welcoming Apion.
Nice.
I'm still trying to decide what games I'm going to stream next Tuesday and Thursday. I think one of the days we'll have Cuphead, and then the other day I haven't decided what game it's going to be yet.
Okay.
I'm mulling that over.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to go back to Ace Combat 7, or do I want to stream something else? Do I want to try streaming more of Metal Gear Solid?
Maybe.
We'll see.
You
see.
might want to wait till some more patches, but
yeah. But thank you to all of those on the YouTube side. I have included the link to the Rumble side, so if you'd like to follow us over to Rumble, please do. We'd greatly appreciate it, but please make sure that you follow Cash, Baron, and myself over on Rumble and subscribe to our channels here on YouTube. The links are in the description below. And until next time, YouTube, we will see you later.
Rumble we go, rumble, rumble, rumble.
Rumble we go, to Rumble we go. I ho the Mario, to Rumble we go. Come follow us, come follow us, come follow us. To the Rumble side we go.
Rumble, rumble, rumble.
Come on, you know you want to. Let's
You
do
can
it.
literally